Look, you have been thinking just broader than the chip infrastructure. You've been thinking about AI and energy needs, for example. How are you seeing this broadening out?
Good morning. Great to be here today. Well, I think that the AI trade continues to chug along, right? We might have some blips in the road and feedback on chips and things like this. And, so much in terms of the near-term performance on semiconductors and tech will be hanging on Nvidia earnings, but there's more to do, right? So if we think about where AI goes in the future and how AI can continue to, broaden out and develop out, you need the energy to essentially power all of these different things that we're doing, whether it's cloud, whether it's data centers, whether it's AI for crypto mining, whether it's quantum computing and supercomputing. You're going to need these companies like Vistra, like Constellation Energy, GE Vernova. There's power that has to come into play here in order for this theme to continue to work. And so I love the AI trade, which is classically chips, right? But now I'm going down the line and I'm saying, what else matters? I think quantum computing matters. I think AI and its power sources matter. I think teleconnectivity matters and things like this. So we'll go back to looking at those mobile and broadband providers. So the AI trade is diverse, let's just say, and I think it'll broaden out.
Why does quantum matter to you, and how do you play that?
Yeah, so quantum matters, I think, because, so first, when we say quantum, we think of supercomputers, right? Basically computers that are able to process data at, these insanely fast speeds so that the data can be utilized, whether it's through, medical research, whether it's through robotics and surgery, banks analyzing risk, aerospace and defense. So in order for AI to work, you need the data to be processed, and it has to be processed efficiently, and it has to be processed quickly. And so, I think a big future development that we'll see is supercomputing and quantum computing. So you can use a quantum ETF, you can use companies like IonQ, you can look at companies like D-Wave. I mean, they're all pretty small cap companies, but this is kind of when you start looking at them, right, in their infancy.
People started looking at Palantir a while ago. And boy,
Yeah.
has it ridden the AI wave. And I know this is a name that you've thought about a lot. And it's getting caught up in a lot of volatility, down on today after a big run up on Friday. How do you play Palantir and Dr. Karp's vision?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just named the new hot kid on the block after Nvidia, right? So Palantir, I think, is likely going to be the stock of the next couple of years that people really look at, and that's because of their role in AI and aerospace and defense. Government funding and things like this will go their way. I think it's a pullback like any other, and I think it's a dip, and it's an opportunity to buy on the dip. This is a stock that people traded ahead of that NASDAQ inclusion, and so they did pretty well with that. It's kind of a natural relief to take a little bit of profits and hold that name for the longer term. But I'm not worried about the pullback. I just think it's an opportunity to get in again.
I mean, talking of pullback, you were just talking about a quantum name, IonQ, and that's having a big pullback on the day as well. And yes. How do you ride those bouts of volatility? Is it that you just cannot be in on one name? You do go broader, like with the ETF perspective, or do you have to be willing to take such downs when you are on the longer term, the direction is higher?
So, I mean, we launched an ETF on this for that reason, the ticker's quantum, and we hold all of these stocks in there. And to answer your question, we did it for that reason, right? You want that broad-based exposure. So you want exposure to Nvidia, to AMD, to Microsoft, to Alphabet, to all of these companies that have, robust and quality balance sheets that serve as a ballast for any kind of volatility. And then you get the smaller names in there, like the D-Wave, the, Ambarellas, the IonQs, and some of the smaller companies out there that are more volatile, right? So it kind of smooths out the ride. But when they get their opportunity and to shine in the sun, they take off, and they take off big. So if you look at the performance chart for IonQ, it's got a fairly decent path there, not unlike Palantir in recent days, right? It's just been kind of running straight up. And I think same thing. I think investors are taking a little bit of profit off the table. But how do I think about this? I am a long-term investor, right? So I buy these stocks and I hold them for years and years. That's how long I think AI is going to play out, right? And so I'm not so worried about these moves. I just kind of dabble back in when they pull back.
Sylvia, you've been talking about crypto for a long time as well. And I mean, how have you ridden this wave? How are you thinking about ensuring that you're not too overweight what has been a phenomenal run-up?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I was actually talking with you guys, and I think I said that crypto is probably going to hit 100,000 in the next couple of years. there was a solid year there where I was getting a lot of emails like, so much for that, right? When it pulled back, but here, and a lot of people have said that and have, even higher targets, right? But I play crypto through MicroStrategy. I think that the latest election of President Trump is actually going to be great for crypto. People kind of ask like, well, what changes? Deregulation changes, tax cuts change. But, if you also have a president that's kind of open to deregulation, that could mean more products that are filed, a change up in the SEC. It could mean potentially holding crypto on the government balance sheet. Like, you don't know where this can go, but I think overwhelmingly, there's an optimistic and positive view on cryptocurrency going forward because of the recent election. And not to mention that crypto has just been on a tear anyway, right? For the last year, risk asset, strong economy, tech is doing well. I kind of throw crypto in that bucket, and it's been a good trade for a lot of investors.